They never used to have motorcycle police sheriffs on Sundays, and now they have them. They knew that the cars were easy to spot.
What'd they get you for?
Huh?
What'd they get you for?
62 and a 50.
Oh my God.
That roller skate goes that fast?
Yes it does.
I was going down.
Okay, so I guess what I'm going to do is tell you about my accident in Thailand. I had worked a week in Bangkok and decided to take a 5-day vacation in Jom Tien, which is on the coast, their Gulf Coast. And I rented a motorcycle. I used to own 3 motorcycles, and when I moved to Los Angeles, I got rid of all of them because of crazy people on the roads. I got run off by a Mack truck one time off the freeway. So here I am 35 years later, or 40 years later. I decided to rent a big Harley. Peaceful little town, And these 5 or 6 tourists jumped right out in the street, right in front of me. No crosswalk, no intersection, no driveway in a business district. They just jumped right out in the road, and I had about 23 feet to stop or take a chance on killing 2 of them and spending my life in Thai jail or hitting the pavement. So I buried the bike into the pavement because I had such little time. So when I hit the pavement, it was asphalt. So it grabbed my butt, of course, pulled it this way, and the 350, 370-pound bike pulled my leg that way. So, I thought the leg was ripped off. I was afraid to look down, and because the bike went that way, and I was pulled back this way. Even though I kept sliding, took all the skin off of here, all the way down the back, all the way off the side, all the way up here. I was wearing shorts and sandals. So I lied on the street. I couldn't even get off the street. The pain was so bad. Looked down, saw my leg there. There was a big knot here and a big knot here because I had ripped the tendon. This one, we've got 2 rope tendons here to really keep that leg together, to be able to run and jump and do all the things that we do. It had ripped this one this way and this one ripped this way. So I had big knots. The tendons were ripped here and here. And, of course, this, no skin over here. Shaved off, as you can see. This heel bone is larger than this heel bone because the asphalt shaved it down, shaved a little bit of this elbow down and this bone, too. It took all the skin and the muscle with it. I was lying there, and this one woman that saw it came over and said, well, I'll call an ambulance. And I said, no. And everybody around is freaking out because I don't want an ambulance. And they can see I'm bleeding and, a mess all over in the leg. And I can't even get off the street. I'm in so much pain. So the traffic's going around me. And even the police didn't even stop, just kept going around me as they went past. So after about 30 minutes, the pain was excruciating, but low enough for me to get into a cab. And there, a cab is a pickup truck with a frame on it and 2 metal seats on either side. So I got down and crawled up in it and got down into the back of the bed and went back to the hotel, which was about 3 miles away. And that lady, 37-year-old Thai lady, she arranged for 2 motorbike taxi drivers to, one follow the other with a motorcycle and take it back to the hotel. So that got all arranged. And I went back to the hotel and I took lime juice and I washed it all out because I had asphalt and gravel and everything all in that. It was black in places. So I kept putting the lime juice on it to wash it and my leg, and burned like hell. But lime is an antiseptic, and what it does is when it gets gets around some foreign object, it surrounds it, and even though it may not come out the skin right away, when it comes out, it'll come out I've got a little bit of a raise right here from one of the particles, and it'll come out as a scab in another week. So right now it's just a piece of pavement that's in there. It's coming out, so it's still coming out. But most of it came out within the first 2 weeks. So after I put the lime juice on it, I put coconut cream and then honey on top of that. And then my leg, I thought by 2 hours that the pain would subside, but it didn't. So I thought, well, my leg is out of place. So I said, get a cab. Asked the girl to get a cab in the hotel to call a cab. So, and call a cab, they called the ambulance. So the ambulance came, picked me up. 4 attendants and a driver. It cost me $12.50 to be taken to the hospital with all these people. I mean, Jesus. Here will cost what, $1,500? So I go to the hospital, and the intern looks at my leg, and he says, I'm not touching that. And I said, I just want you to put it in place. He says, I can't even tell where it is, because you got, knot, it looked all mangled. So I said, and he said, I'm not going to do anything without an x-ray, and I'm the osteosurgeon that I'm going to call, to come in and take a look at it. He's not going to do anything without an x-ray too. And I said, okay, you get 2 shots, because I don't want the radiation, preventing me from healing. And it's going to, so I'm going to have as little as possible. So you get 1 shot this way and 1 shot that way, and that's it. You better make them count. So I had the 2 x-rays done, and the big bone here, the tibia, which is about as big as my fist, and the bone runs down all the way down here, and then you have another smaller one that runs down the back. Well, the tibia had been split down this way. So split that badly, split in 2, and it was about 1/4 of an inch or a little bit more. Couldn't tell at the angle how bad it was, but it was at least 1/4 of an inch separated at the back. And then the tibia goes like this up into the joint where the femur sits on top of the tibia, like this. So it had broken the pyramid off and split it into in fragmented pieces around there. So obviously when I hit, the bike snapped it this way and broke it, the tibia, the tibia tip. So they looked at the x-ray, and I looked at the x-ray with them, and I thought, oh shit, I don't know if my body's going to do this one. And they said, you'll never walk again if you don't have surgery. We have to clean that out. You've got those little bitty pieces in there. You're going to stab the nerves. You will never be able to set your leg down. And we certainly can't put a cast on it, unless you have surgery. And I said, I had a cast when I was 9 years old, and it stayed on for over 12 weeks, and it drove me crazy. I couldn't get into water, and I love water. I couldn't take a bath. Couldn't do anything. So there's no way I want a cast. So nothing was done. I went back to the hotel, put more lime juice on it, and coconut cream and honey, and then I put meat over it, and then got some gauze. Stopped on the way back from the hotel, and the taxi driver and the girl went in and bought me gauze and tape. So taped that all up, all the way up into the back and all the way down the leg. The places where muscle as well as skin was gone, I put thin slices of beef over those, like here and here, where the bone was partially gone, and here, and up here, and then down here. And in 2 weeks, it completely sealed. Completely sealed. Now, I have a Thai girlfriend there, so I had two Thai women helping me 24/7. Help keep getting my leg, lifting it and getting it off the bed into the wheelchair to the bathroom, and then getting on crutches to get to the bath. And we're only talking short distances, but the pain was excruciating. So they had to lift the leg to get it into the bath and out of the bathtub. So I went on for about 2 weeks, and then after about 2 weeks or 10 days, 12 days, I started being able to lift it with my other leg like this and getting around like that. So by 4 weeks I was walking on crutches with just a little bit of weight on the foot, and in 6 weeks I was without crutches walking, to the beach and going swimming in the beach. After about 3.5 weeks, I decided to go into the pool at the hotel to exercise the leg in the swimming pool. And after 5 days of that, I started getting earaches and sore throats, sinus infections because of the chlorine. And the way I was in, I thought, oh shit, I need this exercise. And the beach was, the hotel was on this bend, this corner, and the swimming pool is right there on the property. And the beach is only across the street and down a steep stairs, and I'm at the beach. So it wasn't far to go, so I just said, hell with the swimming pool. As soon as I started going into the ocean, exercising there, all the earaches and everything went away. It's the swimmer's earaches, and it's all from chloroform that you inhale. And the only down part to the ocean was they've got these kind of jelly things that are in the ground. If you step on them, your whole leg will get lost down in there. And a few times while I was walking to get exercise in the ocean, we got caught in there, so I had to pull it out, and it would just snap the whole leg apart again. Because it only took a week for the tendons to grow back. Now the pain there, the bone, there was almost no pain to the bone. It was where the tendons were torn, where all that pain was in my knee.
How long did you do the knee for?
Only 2 weeks.
No, but every day, 24 hours a day, or just?
Yeah, it was 24 hours a day. What I did was every time I got into the bath, of course, all the gauze and everything and the tape would come off. So.
You went into the bath with that on?
Oh yeah, let me tell you. Only place I could get rid of the pain. You have to understand, when I hit that pavement, I bruised my sciatica. So my whole sciatica was swollen almost double its size. So I could only sleep on this side. And in there, 24 hours in a bed, it was just painful. So I'd go into a bathtub and I could sleep in the bathtub, no pain. I'd put Gati, which is coconut cream over there, they make everywhere. I paid something like 60 cents a quart, 60 cents a liter for it. So I put, 3 or 4 cups in my bathtub and go in and out of there all day long. Because even if it were a cool bath, it was nice because in Thailand it's 82, 84 degrees in the winter, So, I'd either make it warm or cool depending upon the pain that I experienced. So that would take most of the pain away, and then I could go back and sleep in the bed for about an hour to an hour and a half at a time, and then go back in the tub and sleep there for 2 hours or 3 hours.
How often did you change?
Pardon?
How often did you change the meat?
Usually I just keep that same piece of meat on for 24 hours. You just change the gauze and all of that. However, each time you change the gauze, the meat would come off, new coconut cream there, and honey, and then the meat would go on top. And then when the skin started sealing over enough, then I just used the coconut cream and the honey and no meat, and then gauze over that. And the gauze, what I did was dip it in the coconut cream, or the girls did. Dip it into coconut cream to get it sopping, and then put some butter on top of that so no way it would heal or even scab. I wouldn't allow it to scab. And in 2 weeks the thing was completely sealed over. Just a little red spot here and a little bit of white scarring there because it took part of the bone out, here. So when it just scraped along the pavement. So you can see that's all that's left. And here you can see a few spots here. Here. On the elbow, a few spots left. But both of these Thai women had been in motorcycle accidents, and they had big gnarly scars, from theirs. So when they saw me heal like this, they got a wheelchair for me, and we went places, to get some stuff for my computer because I was having computer problems. And they would tell everybody. They'd stop everybody and tell them about the lime juice and the coconut cream and the honey, how it would heal, because they couldn't believe it. It would heal in 2 weeks to seal over. And their accidents weren't anything that bad, And I was walking, and without crutches in about 5.5 weeks, without pain in 6.5 weeks. And what happened was, after about a week, during the first week, all of the muscle in this thigh went away. So I had just hanging flesh on this bone. And the body took all of that meat and flesh and made a cast from here all the way down to here. So my leg was just solid, as if I had had a cast inside. The leg was solid all the way. And then after about 4 weeks, when it started receding from my foot up and from here down, my muscle came back. It was gradual the way it did it. So the body is fascinating, what it can do. So, and I didn't have any surgery, and I have the x-rays. Prove everything. So, okay, that's my story. So that's how you can get well quickly if you're eating this diet. And that's how you can mend wounds quickly. Okay, questions and answers. You give the answers, let me ask the questions.
Okay. Jeez. Actually, let me pass right now.
Yeah, I'll pass.
Okay, Joe?
I've been hearing these bird pandemic advertisements like crazy last week, every day, 4 or 5 times on the radio.
Well, you have to understand, they've got this swine flu vaccine already now. So they want to scare as many people into taking these vaccines as possible.
Oh, it's a very scary way they talk.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Very serious.
And let me tell you, there's no pandemic. All birds have viruses today because of all the pesticides we have, all the diseased bugs that they eat. So they can't use parasites and bacteria to cleanse themselves anymore. They have to use viruses. And I guess I'll explain it for those people who haven't been here before. The body uses parasites, bacteria, fungus, and virus to cleanse the body. When parasites are used, they can eat 100 times their weight in 24 hours, and their waste is 1 to 2%, 5 at most. So that's like you eating 100 pounds of food in a day and having a 2 to 5 pound crap the next day. Bowel movement. It's pretty efficient. That's what I want, eating the garbage in my body. Bacteria are next. They can eat 50 times their weight in a 24-hour period, and they have about 5% waste. Still very efficient. Fungus, they have about 10 to 20% waste depending upon the fungus. So that's a greater amount, but still they can consume a mass amount. And theirs is mycelium. It goes in like a milky substance, dissolving dried, dead arterial arteries, capillaries, veins, arteries of the lymphatic system or nervous system. Anything's dried and hardened, fungus does that the best. If you can get a parasite to do that, it is rare because parasites are usually too big to eat things like that, so it's left to either bacteria or fungus. When the body is so poisoned that no life form can eat that tissue and remove it from your body, then the body makes virus. A virus is a solvent. There is no nucleus, there's no respiratory system, viruses are not alive. You can put them in a fertilized petri dish and they will not multiply at all. Just the exact amount you put in there is what you will find incubated years later. One will reproduce. Once you put a live cell, a tissue cell, in that environment, then of course the cells start producing the virus. But of course the pharmaceutical industry doesn't want you to think that it's making its own soaps. They want you to think that they're multiplying because they're attacking you. And the true sense is that they're soaps. You know, there's so much. You got laundry detergent in every house. Is laundry detergent contagious? No, it's something we produce to clean things with. It's a soap. It's a solvent. So that's what the cells do when they can't use the help of parasites, bacteria, and fungus. So the birds out there are so poisoned by our air and contamination, they're using an awful lot of virus these days and very little bacteria and very little parasites. So just like the human race is the same way. We have very few bacterial poisons, and we have bacterial infections, which are detoxification. Very little amounts of bacteria are involved anymore. Very small colonies. Most of it's viral. And the sicker we get, the more contaminated we get, the less bacteria, fungus, and the parasites we will be able to utilize. So then we rely on virus. And like any solvent, when you use a solvent, you always dilute it with water. So when you, like in your garage floor, you put down the solvent to get up the grease. Well, when you wipe that up, you've got a pail of solvent and the grease. So you've got two kinds of contamination spread out in this fluid. So you've expanded the contamination rather than shrink it, as bacteria, parasites, and fungus do. They reduce the amount of waste product to a very small amount for the body to have to use. They have to clean its system, especially overtaxing the lymphatic system, which is supposed to be responsible for cleaning everything in the body. But because we're so toxic, the bloodstream gets involved. Bloodstream gets involved in feeding the body when it's the lymphatic system's job. Lymphatic is supposed to feed every cell in the body, except for the red and white blood cells that are in the blood. It does feed those that are growing and maturing in the blood, in the bone marrow, but not in the rest, not in the bloodstream. So the lymphatic system is responsible for cleaning and feeding every area of the body except for the bloodstream. When it can't do that, the blood gets involved in a lot of other jobs it's not meant to do. Of course, that takes away from the cell's ability to transport oxygen to cells and to relieve the carbon dioxide from the system. So it lowers energy. So why do you think everybody goes to, Starbucks and grabs, coffee, or somebody's grabbing a cola? Everybody's on drugs because they have no energy, because the body's not functioning properly. It's functioning at a very low rate. When I was a kid, I used to watch, my grandparents' farm. People ate raw milk. They, ate naturally. And they were throwing 90-pound bales 15 feet with one hand up into the loft, and somebody would be up there catching them. Each hand. Now the bales are down to 30 and 40-pound bales, and they have to be a forklift. Nobody's got any energy or strength anymore. It's really sad. It's sick. And very few people are aware of it because the media doesn't give you that picture. Oh, they say we're getting better and healthier, and everybody, human race is getting technologically evolved, and they don't look at the animal health of the human body anymore, or any creature. So, okay.
Can I ask
So don't worry about the
So
bird flu.
what's the next stage?
Well, next week we went
They're
back
doing
home.
this advertising campaign really heavy.
Oh, well, they're getting ready. See, they've been producing this avian flu vaccine, this bird flu vaccine, and of course, Bush has already paid for it. Was it $8 billion? $9 billion? $9.5 billion, I think now. It's going to be something like $13 billion by the time it's finished. And this goes all into the pharmaceutical house. So they're getting ready. They've got the vaccine almost ready. They're in the packaging stage, and it'll be out in about a month.
You're talking about going door to door and inoculating people in your homes.
Yeah, they're talking about that, but they don't have the.
Can they do that?
They don't. Yeah, Bush signed signed an executive order.
How do you
So,
get out of it?
pardon?
How can you get out of it?
You don't answer the door. Well, they may leave a notice for you, but they don't have the manpower. They just want you to think that if you don't go in and get it and accept it, you're going to be in trouble. And most people will believe that they're going to be in trouble if they don't do it.
Yeah, what are they going to do? Quarantine people?
They probably will do it to a few people as an example.
To kids?
No, kids they'll just take away and vaccinate them. They'll get some court order, to do it. So, you just have to not answer your door.
Will they go into the schools?
Oh, they'll definitely go into the schools. You pull your children out during this whole period. Pull your children out and homeschool them.
No, there has to be. Sounds like Hitler.
Oh, it is. It is. The Bush family financed Hitler. Prescott Bush ran the bank that financed Hitler in this country. And when the Attorney General discovered it, he closed that bank down. Prescott Bush threatened the U.S. government and said, "You will pay for this." And then he got his son, put his son in the CIA, got him put into the CIA, and became head of the CIA for 30 years.
So how do we protect ourselves? How do we, besides running away? Another country.
There's no other way, if it gets that bad. Either Bush just signed last week, he signed an order that he can call martial law without Congress approval. So he can declare martial law at any time for any kind of national security, and there won't be any election. And he'll stay in as a dictator for as long as he deems it's so. And only Congress and the House can stand up to him and say, "You're not going to do this." And they're not doing it. Nobody has any cojones.
What did we get this virus?
Pardon?
What did we get? We get this virus ourselves. How do you?
You can't get a bird flu virus. It's the most absurd thing in the world. I went to, when it first came out, I went with a group of doctors to Vietnam and to Cambodia and Thailand, where they said that these birds were infected, and we studied 12 at each site. Couldn't find any kind of contagious virus. They were already setting this up for this bird flu vaccine. It's all about money. Scare people and they just buy more and more drugs, more and more drugs. That's all it's about. Selling drugs. Joe, you got your question answered thoroughly.
Yes.
There you go.
So the people that they're saying, oh, these people have this flu, what do they really have in your diagnosis?
They have a virus that's their own kind.
From a weak immune system, right? What else?
There's no such thing as an immune system in the way that the medical profession, pharmaceutical, puts it out there, because they don't want you to put your finger on what is really cleaning and protecting the body. You've got your white blood cells, they protect the blood and they protect the intestinal tract. your glands, all of those things where the blood flows quickly. The lymph system is responsible for cleaning out the body. It protects the body and its tissue under the skin, in the bones, everywhere else. And the blood takes care of the glands and the organs and the muscles and protects them. But it's all about phagocytes, whether it's phagocytes in the bloodstream or the lymphatic system. So there's no mysterious immune system. It's very simple. You've got white blood cells, which are fatty cells, phagocytes. The phagocytes eat toxic matter that is organic. Once it's non-organic, then the fat cells that absorb toxicity are not phagocytes. It's just fat cells that will surround, toxicity and hold on to it, not eat it. If it can penetrate, if it's thallium or mercury or some of the other elements, it can burn its way into the fat cell.
How do we get rid of phagocytes?
You don't want to get rid of phagocytes. Phagocytes are your white blood cells that are eating toxic matter or foreign matter. That's the true immune system. It means it's your defense. Protects you.
So it's the white blood cells.
White blood cells, which are fatty cells.
And how do we increase that?
They're bred in the bone marrow like the red blood cells. So you have to keep your bone marrow good and healthy and eat properly. And that's all it takes. If you want to increase your bone marrow health, then eat bone marrow. You get bones and dig out the bone marrow, which is something like butter, and you eat it. Okay, do you have a question?
On the birds, let's go to the bees. Your diet's very honey-related or bee-related. Salaries pollinated by bees. Use a lot of unscented, unheated honey. Given the colony collapse disorders, they estimate 1/4 of colonies have already been affected.
It isn't infecting any organic beekeeper.
So what's going on?
Well, they're using. You have to understand the pharmaceutical houses make the antibiotics that go in beehives. So the antibiotics that they're giving these beehives now are killing the bees. Purposely. Do you know how much honey is known to be healing in the world? It's a big, dent in the pharmaceutical industry. Get rid of honey, and what do you have? Everybody has to go to pharmacy. Everybody believes the only other source of healing is pharmaceutical.
Some of the concern on that, though, is the colonization of bees, right? The food supply, one of the major concerns.
Oh, that's a big concern. And then what do you have? You have, Monsanto and Dow and Gulf and Western, who have their plants that don't need pollination. Your GMO foods. So there's a plot to everything. It's all planned. It's very planned. These people are treacherous. It's like how many years, how many millions of years, how many billions of years or hundreds of millions of years has this planet used manure as fertilizer? Ever since there was a living being. What happened last year? They blamed Popeye's healthy food, spinach, contamination on E. coli. E. coli is a natural part of your intestines. E. coli is responsible for the final breakdown of protein and fat molecules that are so small that they can feed the brain and nervous system. They've got you afraid of E. coli. So who's rewarded if they outlaw those fertilizers for general public use in commercial food. Monsanto, Dow, and anybody who's selling chemical pesticides. See, they say, we're safe, we don't have any bacteria in ours. No, they just have poisonous chemicals.
However, you must admit, Aajonus, that the manure that comes from the animals that are kept in confinement is certainly different from that.
It is inferior, but it grows fine. The human contamination waste is dangerous. Canada is discovering that because they have a forced fertilization of human waste in Alberta and several, areas in Canada. And people are coming up in arms because the food is not good. I mean, people are getting sick on eating that food.
And there's only one, isn't there only one? It's not the normal strain of E. coli that they're worried about. It's one that they're talking
The
about.
015787 is a phantom. I've been to 50 places looking for it in all types of places, and the only place I can find it was at a university. I have a friend in a laboratory who gave me some. When I put an enzyme on it, which usually fractionates a virus into 5 sections, 5 parts to study it, it fractionates in 2. Means it's man-made, man-spliced. So again, we've got a plot here going on, just like the AIDS. So this is a very, very bad government and commercial system we have going that's running this country. Both the medical, which is run by the pharmaceutical industry completely and wholly, and our food system. And the banks almost own all of it.
Who do you think's going to get in? You don't think we're going to have the election?
If it goes as predicted, there won't be an election. Right at the last minute, there will be some war somewhere, and then Bush will say, "It's national security. We can't afford to have somebody come in office who doesn't know what they're doing." And that's it. That's it. It's Nazism all over again.
What can we do?
Well, to stop it, you have to make a lot of noise before it gets to that. And we have a year. And that means you have to fax. You have to fax every day. If you fax your representatives and every representative in Congress, you can get a program that will fax them every day. You jam up their fax machines, and they get frustrated. It's one of the reasons I got the law passed here about raw milk. I had 1,500 people faxing them every day for 10 days. We shut down their offices, and they had to pay attention. And then 2 senators took my report in and handed it to them and said, "You're going to have a nasty class action suit if you don't read this and take heed before the vote tomorrow." Because the day before the vote, it was 4 against the raw milk, 1 for. The day of the vote, it was 4 for, 1 against.
Is that what you're doing in Washington? Are you putting a bill together, or are you trying to preempt something?
I didn't put this bill together, for here in California. I let one of the Board of Supervisors do it. And they have to write it. I mean, I can give them an outline of what it should say, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm also filing suit against the FDA and the CDC one.
What's about this new farm bill?
What?
What they've added to the farm bill?
It's more garbage. All they're doing is the people, see, they don't want the little guys farming. They want to put them all out of business. So you subsidize the little farmer, and the big corporations make all the money and sell all the goods. And the little farmer forgets how to farm. His land goes barren. It isn't taken care of, and they make all this money. And we pay for it.
So all we can do is go on the internet and send letters?
No, the internet doesn't mean a garbage thing. You have to fax them. Fax them or call. Fax is the best because it jams their machines. They have to use their paper. They have to use their dollar. Faxes are always the best. And I will be appealing to all of you who have email to fax when I'm in Washington, D.C.
I won't have a job left. You're going to shut down the FDA? What am I going to do?
Good. They need to be shut down.
Why are you suing them?
Pardon?
Why are you suing them?
I'm suing them because they're distributing the pamphlet written by the CDC that says raw milk is bad without any science in that little pamphlet at all. I sent them a cease and desist order in December to the CDC and the FDA, the heads of both, and to their small offices. So every violation, every pamphlet that they put out since December, anyone's been issued, will cost them $10 a pamphlet, $10,000 a pamphlet, plus, penalties.
That money will come to you.
Come to the Right to Choose Healthy Food organization. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. If they don't kill me while I'm there. It's a possibility. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I just was kind of wondering about the, you were touching upon the AIDS and this thing sort of thing in bird food.
Right. You mean
there's talk that
the
it came out of a lab somewhere.
yeah. Well, that's documented. It was AIDS was created at UCLA in 1961. They were testing animals. They were trying to create a virus that would, or a chemical compound that would give laboratory animals cancer so they could study cancer. And Dr. Strecker, who was a biologist and biochemist, he's got several MDs, PhDs, was hired by an insurance company in San Francisco that was insuring a company that was 60% homosexuals. So he was to study and give them a report on the likelihood of illness and sickness among those workers in that company and what the base rate should be for the employees for health insurance. So he kept fractionating the AIDS virus and trying to fractionate it into 5 parts like he showed me, and it kept splicing, it kept dividing in 2. And he realized after 1,000, he said, wait a minute, this is man-made. So he took the 2 opposite sides, spliced them together, and found out he had the lymphonomic virus of a sheep and the leukemic virus of a cow, of a bovine. So he took the 2 names, put them together in 15 different forms, and he was going to go to the majors, the universities where he thought that they may have experimented with it. He knew it had to have been sometime in the 60s. So, because he lived and worked in Los Angeles, he went to UCLA first, and the first name popped right up. He came up with the crossing of the 2 names of the disease, and there it was. So he realized that it was man-made and that it had to be distributed. So he called his high-powered corporate and government brother attorney, and his attorney started slapping information, freedom of information documents to the NSA and the national government and the military, different branches of the military, asking for any information on that because it showed that UCLA had sent that information to the War Department. So he couldn't get any response, so he had a friend who was a senator from either Wisconsin or Minnesota, I forgot where it was, which state it was, and that senator and that attorney went after them and got the information. And in my bibliography in We Want to Live, if you look under Bioattack Alert, that's the documented evidence about that. and they discovered many other poisons. They realized they were poisoning the different pockets of the United States. They experimented on 1 million people in Louisiana. The military did this. The way they did the AIDS was they decided that they'd go after and test it on a, what do they classify them, undesirable group. So they figured that the homosexuals were an undesirable group. How could they test it on them? So they found that in Los Angeles, New York City, San Francisco, and Houston, Texas, that 90% of the people who were receiving the hepatitis vaccine were homosexuals, and 10% were heterosexuals. So they decided to put it in the hepatitis B vaccine all through the 70s and early 80s.
I had that. No, in the military, you have hepatitis B.
Yeah, but you weren't in Los Angeles or... it was just that pocket of shipments that were infected and deliberately distributed. So that's why 10% of those people were heterosexuals who got AIDS. 90% were homosexuals.
The story that they traced it to an airline stewardess who was the first guy
That's the story. Yeah, they came from the green monkey in Africa. That's the story. But what they realized was, in that story was partially true, because they grew that AIDS virus, or they got the AIDS virus to multiply, and you could only get AIDS, it doesn't multiply, the cells produce it. So they got it monkey tissue. They bred it in monkey tissue in a petri dish. Whenever you put live cells in a petri dish, remember, it's sterile. It's not like in the human body, even though our blood is considered sterile. There's bacteria and everything in there, but they consider it non-active when it's in the bloodstream. However, when you put it in a petri dish, it is not like in the human body. So those cells start getting contaminated by that fertilized environment, and they start making viruses to clean themselves. So that's why the growing or the production of virus is so high in a petri dish. You put it in a human, you can't get it to develop very easily. So that's why they started putting in the hepatitis 76 quadrillion molecules of mercury, equal amount of formaldehyde and equal amount of aluminum and detergent, to make sure that the body got poisoned along with this. So that the body, if it weren't able to clean and control that stuff, the cells would start making a similar virus to the AIDS.
That wasn't put in there to protect the virus, the actual vaccine either.
It only takes 3,000 molecules of mercury to contain 2 cc's of fluid. So, and all of your vaccines contain 76 quadrillion molecules of mercury. But now that the new mercury-free vaccines are out, mercury-free, the FDA allows them to call it that. It went from 76 quadrillion molecules of mercury to 56 quadrillion molecules of mercury, and the FDA allows them to call it mercury-free. They're out to poison us. They're out to weaken us, to make us sick. And if you look at Aaron Russo's work, he interviewed Rockefeller, who's one of the boys, the big boys, and they said, yes, we have all kinds of plans, infecting the human population to get it down to 1.2 or 4 billion, something like that. And it will happen by the year 2027, 26 was their plan.
Get them right down to that number.
Yep. So they're working at a huge epidemic here. So the only way you're going to be able to take care of yourself is to get good food. And the only way we're getting good food, Whole Foods is a organization of the Bushes. The Bush family in Texas pays the Bass family, and the Bass family, their wealth, which was started off in hotels and wells, oil, now bought up all of Wild Oats. They bought up all of them. So now, what do you think? And you notice that Whole Foods goes around saying, go organic, go organic. But if you look in their produce, only 2% is ever organic.
Yeah, we're gonna.
So it's absolute marketing garbage. And they're selling produce that isn't even organic as organic. Highly contaminated foods is what they're selling. The only way they trick you is to carry some good meats.
So they've had a lot of people quit just for that reason when they said.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So fired.
So you have to take a look at they're intending for your demise. In LA, all the people who are on my diet there, we have our food trucked in from Pennsylvania every week to Amish farmers that we know are growing our food close to exactly what we want. Yeah, no. Well, James claims to have, good connections on organic farmers. In vegetables, yeah, for organic farmers. Pardon? Jimbo's Markets, I think, were just bought by Whole Foods too. They haven't yet? There was a bid on it 2 weeks ago. Henry's was bought.
Jimbo's is owned by Jimbo.
Oh, okay. All right. So Jimbo's would be a good one then.
It's okay.
Preferable.
I've already figured out Whole Foods on my own a long time ago.
Oh.
I won't shop there.
When I called them 10 years ago when they first bought out Mrs. Gooch's, a little over 10 years ago, I wanted to know where their meat was coming from. So I called the corporate office and they said, it's all natural. They feed it natural foods that cows eat. I said, yes, but what is that in what form? Where do they get the feed and what is the composition that they're fed the cows? And they said, we don't know. So I got the ranch, the person who worked with the ranches that purchased the meats, and they were feeding these cows 15% bakery waste, stale donuts. I called the head office again at Whole Foods and I said, you're lying. You're feeding them 15% bakery waste. He said, yeah, but the donuts are made of grain, which cows eat. I said, how many cows do you know go around boiling their grains in oil and making donuts out? That's not natural. He says, yeah, but they're eating natural grains. The logic is not there. Their mind is into profit because they can make a lot more money for going for organic when it has nothing to do with organic. It's all about profit.
There's a friend of mine that's got chemical sensitivity, and they...
I can only take one person with a question because we've got a lot of people here. Okay, do you have a question?
Okay, I found out about you, Aajonus, from...
Aajonus.
Aajonus, okay, sorry. From Lisa, she's at my dentist's place there. And I wanted to ask you, because I've been drinking a lot of raw milk and I've really been gaining weight, and is there any way that you can drink like non-fat raw milk and then put a little bit of fat in it rather than having so much fat? I've been doing the organic pastures and I wanted to know, I went up to the Rawsome Co-op and I noticed that they have all their milk in glass containers. They didn't.
Not all.
I don't think they had.
This one is in glass. Yeah.
Yeah. Do they? I don't think they carry. I don't know if they carry the organic pastures.
No, we had an argument with organic pastures. They're not really organic. And I helped finance them, and I got some of my patients like Martin Sheen to help finance them. They've never paid us back. They're going around bragging about making $3 million a year, and they're just a starter company, and they've lied about a lot of things. So we just divorced ourselves from them. But still, it's better than nothing. I mean, they do eat grass. They're mainly pastured, but when they're fed their 2 to 4 cups of grain a day when they're being milked, it's not organic grain. No. So, but it's still better than nothing. It's better than Claravale.
Because that's all they have in Orange County at the health food stores.
If I had nothing else to drink, I would be drinking organic pasture.
Okay.
It's just that I don't like Mark McAfee. He's a dishonest man, you know, and he's nasty man, ruthless, dishonest. Anyway, we have ours trucked in. They put most of it in non-bottles. I like mine in glass, but there's no refund. I pay $2.50 for that bottle, and I don't get to return it. So my back porch is just lined with rows of, I could build a house, you know, glass house with them.
I met Abraham there, and he said that he will deliver it to Orange County. So, so that way I can just get it delivered.
Great.
I think he only comes once a week or once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
In the meantime, then get the organic pastures, even though it's not organic.
Yeah. But we used to fatten the pigs up, and all farmers fatten their pigs up with skim milk.
So
skim milk causes, low-fat milk causes weight gain. That is because your minerals concentrate. You don't have the fat to utilize the minerals properly. So as the minerals build up, your body builds fat deposits to come in, and it sticks. It holds on to fat. So we could fatten our pigs up in 3 times the time. If we fed them whole milk, they lost the weight.
Okay.
Yeah. So that isn't your problem. Your problem is you've got a lot of toxins that need diluting. You need the fat.
Okay.
Fats are the most important element when we're in a toxic society. It's better to be fat and happy than sick and diseased and thin and beautiful.
Really? You're that way?
She knows it. She's admitted it.
She looks great.
Yeah.
Gained almost 30 pounds.
I know I gained about 20.
But let me tell you, once you've done it a while, you feel so happy and so good that who wants to get thin and unhappy again?
Say that again.
And the only reason I look thin is I'm fat. I'm 23% body fat. And for a man, 10% is supposed to be okay, 7% is ideal. I'm 23% body fat. But do I look it? No, because I've been eating raw fats since 1972. Only raw fats since 72. So my fat molecules are very tiny and compact.
Oh, yeah.
When you cook a fat, it swells 10 to 50 times its normal size. And some people, and some black people, when I've done some laboratory tests, I've seen it swell up to 100 times. So, stay away from cooked fats, you know, that will give you the weight. I mean, I've had a lot of women that are the size of Helen and other women, and like you. And all of a sudden, you know, if they didn't have cesarean, 8-9 years later, they're thin forever. Thin forever, because unless they go eat cooked fats. But still, they're fat, but they look thin. They can have 27% body fat and look as good as Barbara.
I've got 34% body fat.
34%. And look how good she wears it.
No, in the front. You saw me in the nude. You would not say that.
Stand up. I know. That's what it looks like. But you see, how trim she looks with 23%, with 32%, 34. That's a lot of fat. That's a huge amount, yet she still looks slender compared to Elena.
Well, yeah, but that's misleading because I've got a slim frame. Because I really am roly-poly.
Well, that's a good roly-poly. I was roly-poly for 8 years.
Were you really?
Oh, yes. I was huge. I can bring some.
Is that because Barbara's on the diet?
I was huge.
Barbara, how many years are you on a diet?
4 years. Another 2 months. 4 years. So it's not long. I didn't know.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm talking about, when 1977, when I first started eating, raw meat, it's from 76 my first year, I was...
Were you really?
Yeah.
How much more weight on than what you got now?
I was probably 20 pounds lighter than him only.
And how many
was
more
big.
pounds heavier than what you are now?
Oh, I'm heavier heavier now than I was then.
Is that right?
Yeah, in weight. I was 176, 177. I'm 182. But I'm dense, heavy. My protein, everything is very dense.
That's what happens to stay on the diet a long time.
Yeah, right. You get heavier and heavier, so you don't look at the weight. Ignore all of it. Ignore your size, ignore the weight, till you get well. Then your body will naturally get thin for the rest of your frickin' life. So you don't have to worry about it. Pardon?
You don't do exercise.
I have no activity rings in my body. I've produced very low hormones for physical activity. So I do Cary Grant's exercise. That's it.
That's not necessarily great for other people.
That is not for other people. Other people have many activity rings. They produce many hormones for physical activity. And if they don't spend them on physical activity, they're going to spend it in anxiety. So I tell everybody, if I see activity rings in their eyes and overactive hormones on their hands, I say you've got 2 doors to choose from every day. In that room, one of those rooms you're going to spend it in. One's activity and one's anxiety. So, it's your choice. Do you have a question?
Yeah. I have been told that Cornish hen is supposed to be better. That's all.
The what?
Cornish hen.
Cornish hens?
What's that?
Cornish hen is a smaller bird, smaller than your big chickens.
Oh, hens. I thought you said hens. I thought H-A-N-Z-S. Oh, sorry.
It depends on what they're fed and where they're raised.
But usually, what are they fed?
Well, Cornish, when they bake them for the very tender specialty, gourmet restaurants and delis, they usually feed them corn and oats, which are very sweet, and it also makes them tender. So they get a lot of oats, and they'll get some vegetables.
Is that good?
Oh, that's very good, but let me tell you, they don't feed them that way anymore very well. They feed them alfalfa pellets like they do rabbits, processed garbage. That's why the flavor of the corn, I remember when I used to eat the Cornish hens in the 60s, late 60s, and then I had one about 2 months ago out of a deli, and it tasted like cardboard. It tasted like just chicken. It's not so good anymore. So they're not, they're everybody's trying to make a buck and make a dollar, and a hard, fast one. Everybody wants to be rich on a week's salary. They want to retire on a week's salary. It's insane. Even my Amish farmers are the same way. They jacked the prices up 50% in the past 2 years. And my Amish farmer said, I got on one of my Amish farmers about it. He said, well, I've got 3 daughters. I said, yeah, but you're not going to retire on your 3 daughters. They're going to get married. You're Amish. So don't give me that bullshit. You're raising it because you're greedy. And he didn't say a thing. So just basically emitted
More
it.
and more people to them, and then I don't know what it is. They think now they got the
And
market.
the cheese is
That's
good,
it.
yeah?
But I guarantee you that we're getting other farmers in. I'm getting them in. I'm starting to pull them in, and I'm going to put them out of business. I'll just go for my other Amish farmers. And then as each one starts getting greedy, I'll recycle all of them.
But the cheese is coming now. It's not mature. I mean, it's all soft and it's all gooey and I think it's such a shame. It was lovely at the beginning.
And Aajonus Joseph Cusimano has a very, very long list. You want his
Joe
email?
Cosmano,
The guy from Florida. You want
he's
his
retiring
list?
too.
Yeah. Well,
He's going
looking-
out of business.
Looking for somebody to buy his farm, but I mean, he has a huge amount of products.
Yeah, but that's most of them are coming from the Amish farmers.
Oh, they are?
Yeah. All of his cheese, he doesn't make any cheese.
I heard there was a guy in Del Mar that does cheese. Does anybody know who that is?
I don't know. Do you have a question?
Yes. You have intense heat from the cups all over the body, and you have to put on clothes.
Don't drink water. Drink something with minerals in it, like milk. You're not supposed to take food in there. But you take it in a bag that you don't open. I do the same thing. And, I'll put it in something where you can't see that it's milk.
But if I do too much, can you do too much and go down?
If you're drinking water, a lot of water. Just remember, water is a solvent. There's no nutrients in water. Any nutrient that's in it is for the plants. You've got rock minerals in there, rock solids in water. Humans don't digest rock. Plants, grasses, they eat rock. Trees, all the vegetation eats rock.
It's not because I stayed too long in the mineral water? Or pulled out
You can start pulling out lots of toxins and you need more minerals, and you're drinking water and you're causing everything to leach and losing more and more minerals as you perspire and urinate, because the body needs to get rid of that water fast, because only 10% of it can be cellularly absorbed, and that will dry out that cell. Water is never good. It is okay in certain circumstances when you need some some water to help dissolve certain compounds in the body that you can't normally dissolve. But it's very little. I've had a total of a cup of water in 2 months. I drink milk, something with nutrients in it. You don't see me bloated with water. You don't see me thirsty all the time. But I'm drinking my water my milk a little at a time. As my body can use it, I'm not pissing it out. I may urinate 2 times a day, 3 times a day.
But you're not fat like us. You gain weight when you drink milk. Huh?
How much water do you drink?
A couple quarts a day.
Okay, I rest my case. He's bloating 2 quarts of water that aren't utilized. That's in his body.
Yeah,
If he drinks
true.
milk like I do, he's going to lose a lot of water weight.
That's true. I can drop 20 pounds.
Absolutely.
So when we go to these places and we do the mud and all that, it's okay to do it? Just drink milk?
Take your milk and cheese and honey with you, so you'll remineralize the system.
Just have that while you're there?
Yep.
Should we take the coconut drink before we go to the bath?
It's a good idea. Coconut with the pineapple.
So I wouldn't have thrown up.
Oh, no, I'm not saying you wouldn't have thrown up. You're less likely to have thrown up as much.
Okay. So how much is one for myself do in a day? If I go there, how long should I stay in the mineral bath and how long should
That's
I
up
stay?
to you.
It doesn't matter?
It's up to you.
Okay.
It's not really hot enough. They keep it at the 3 that have no, the center ones that are between the pool and the other area, walking area. Those are the only ones they don't put anything in. in it, no chlorine or anything. And those are the hottest is 102, 101.8. They're doing it now at 103? Well, maybe that's during the summertime. Because I usually go there in the winter and it's always 102.
I got them. I actually got them.
You actually got them to bring it down?
I got them from Manchester. Because the time before it being 103 and I said, "Can you put it up?"
Oh, you wanted them to put it up.
And they did.
I like to stay in all day, so. But I'll go from there to the mud, and the mud's cool. That's that's about 100 degrees.
Yeah.
And I'll stay in the mud for an hour, and then I'll go into the hot tub for an hour, and back and forth.
How often should I do that?
I used to do it once a week. Now that I have my own hot tub, I go there only in the winter with friends once in a while.
You don't put stuff in your hot tub, do you? Like milk and...
Don't have to. I've got a well. It's all well water.
So what you put inside of it, they don't put it.
I don't put anything in my.
Oh, you don't.
Well, I do put some coconut cream in there
So that could be.
because I put it all over myself, And I've got a big 300-pound sand filter, Hayward filter for the hot tub. And a 300-pound sand filter cleans a whole swimming pool. So, and I've got it for a hot tub. So that way I won't have to change it, but every 10 years. Can't hear you. What'd you say, Barbara?
When you're at college, how often do you use your hot tub and for how long?
In the winter, I use it
Every day?
almost every day.
For half an hour, an hour, what?
About an hour. Sometimes many times because I don't use the heat in the house. So it gets pretty cold up there in the mountains in Malibu, and even snows or hails sometimes. So it gets pretty cold, and I sleep outside. So sometimes I'll go in there for an hour before I go to sleep. And if I work all day, when I have patients, I'll turn on the heat while the patients are there because they'll freeze to death. So, but when 5 days of the week, I don't see patients there, and I work there, and I've got a slate floor that's pretty cold, so I'm in that hot tub 2-3 times a day, in the winter. But right now, usually one time a day.
You sleep outside?
Yeah, I've got a bed inside and a bed outside. When it rains, I'm inside. When I'm not, I'm outside. Under the stars and mountains of Malibu. And I got the coyotes that come up and sniff me in my bed, and the deer ate all my roses. I got to enjoy my roses for the first time. I went out this morning, all my new roses were all eaten and gone.
They thank you.
Yeah, they like
Yeah, they should have, because I give those roses my urine and coconut pulp, and some of the clay. Mix that together. I mean, my plants are incredible. The areas that I fertilize, my spearmint my spearmint plants are this high. Where I don't fertilize, they're this high. Yeah. And other nitrogen from the urine.
So how much milk do you drink? Do you have
I got to let other people ask some questions. Do you have a question? You.
I'd like to talk about the spleen.
Spleen? It's a very simple organ. The spleen holds excess blood. When we lived in the trees in the caves, if you believe that, and we're swinging around, got a cut, and we lost a cup of blood, the spleen would carry about 2 pints, sometimes 2.5 pints, and dumps a cup of it right back into the blood, so we're not anemic. Also, if we get very cold, the spleen will dump a lot of red blood cells into the bloodstream to thicken the blood so we stay warm. Also, if we get too hot, the spleen can remove up to a cup and a half of blood at a time from the bloodstream and cool the bloodstream as it's thinner. The kidneys also work with the body in doing that by when it gets too cold. You'll notice that you urinate a lot because the body's clearing the H2O out to thicken the blood. If you're too hot, if you're too cold, the body will take the water out. If you're too hot, the body will allow the water to stay in, and the kidneys won't be removing the H2O.
What are symptoms of your problem?
None. In our day and age, none, unless you're a bleeder or an athlete. If you don't have a spleen and you don't have that reserve of red blood cells, you're going to stay cold and you're going to stay hot, and you're not going to have that fluctuation as quickly. So it could take your body an hour and a half to adjust rather than 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes. If you don't have a way to remove the blood cells. And you could freeze to death very quickly. If you went skiing and you were in an accident or something, or broke your ski and you couldn't get back to the lodge fast, you could freeze to death if you don't have a spleen. Because you don't have that reserve of red blood cells.
And the blood cells are made in the bone.
Bone marrow.
So someone who gets chilled easily, they have a spleen problem?
No, not necessarily. It means spleen, they may not be functioning well.
What can help if you function better?
The spleen? Eating spleen. And that stuff's nasty. It's not as bad as kidney, but it's as bad as eating gizzard. It almost has an ammonia-like taste. And it's funny, the two organs that handle warming and cooling of the body have a high ammonia taste when you eat them, and that's the kidney and the spleen. So I don't think that the spleen, I've never found any tissue in the spleen that I could say produces ammonia like the kidney does. So it could be that some of the ammonia gets back into the blood from the kidney accidentally, and the spleen, as it's pulling the red blood cells out, the ammonia is attached to the red blood cells, and that gets into the spleen walls. Do you have a question?
Yeah. If you wanted to check your body back, how do you do that? On a scale, the other's another way.
The only ultimately accurate way is you have to go into a swimming pool where they have sound waves that bounce it off of you. There are scales that you buy, that you get on, and you put your weight and age, your height and age, and your body exercise. Like if you exercise a lot, you're like a 4, moderate a 3, light 2, no exercise a 1. And if you put those figures in there, you come up with about 1% of accuracy. 1.5% sometimes if you're big as he is. You might be 2% off. But in my size, it's usually about 0.5% off. You can just go on the internet and body fat level scale. Body fat scale.
I'm not sitting
You can
next
buy
to
them
anymore. You gotta be picking on me.
Yeah. I like fat people.
Hey, if you've been around as many chemicals as I have,
You need it. I know. That's why you have it. Do you have a question?
yeah, is that movie Sicko any good? coming out? The movie by Michael Moore, the new documentary.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. But I'm sure it is good because he's going after the pharmaceutical and medical industry.
What about antibiotics when someone's in a critical state? How do you, what would you do in terms of...
Well, you have to realize what antibiotics do. Antibiotic is a foreign chemical that goes into the body. Penicillin is from the bird community. Doesn't belong in the human body. They say the best thing since penicillin has caused, out of all the children that I've worked with, 90% of their problems is because of penicillin at a young age, damaging their intestinal tract and their nervous system. And it feeds into their brains in a lot of people. And everybody here, out of the last people that I've seen in the last 5 years, 90% of them are infected with penicillin molds that are still growing in their body, damaging them still.
So,
Even if you haven't had it for 20 years.
So if somebody has gangrene and they want to give them penicillin, what would you give them instead?
You don't give them gangrene is not a bad thing. There are quite a few people that used to put urine on gangrene limbs, and it would stop, would help regenerate in the leg. I remember the first incident I read about was a racing horse that had an injury, and its leg got gangrene, and they were going to shoot it, and this one man just started bathing it with would catch the horse's urine and kept soaking it and wrapped it in, cloths with heavy urine and wrapped it around. In 5 days it was completely well and sealed. Now from that, and the guy wrote a book about it and all the different types of open wounds that he suggested for it. So I experimented with a lot all through the 70s and 80s with urine therapy on cuts and bruises, and it was incredible how it worked. I remember in 82 I was giving a seminar on Jekyll Island, Georgia, and the two people that owned the health food store were elderly people. The husband was like 86 years old, and he came to the workshop, and I was talking a little bit about urine therapy, and then he said, "Can I say something about that?" And I said, "Sure." I thought it was going to be something derogatory about it. And he stood up and said, "I'm a retired police officer from the Miami Police Department. And all through up until 1928, whenever we'd find somebody in an accident or shot or injured, bleeding, we'd pour urine on them. And it would stop the bleeding within minutes." He said in 1928 they outlawed it, and they've watched thousands of people die, bleed to death because they couldn't put urine on the wound.
Does it have to be your own urine?
No, they would. The police would actually urinate into a cup and then pour it on the people. And that was a normal practice. That was considered a good thing to do, and it was, unless you want somebody to die.
What is in the urine that really stops bleeding?
Well, you have to understand, the urine is nothing other than the blood without a lot of red blood cells, and with extra ammonia from the kidney. So you've got an ammonia, which is an antiseptic, and you've got lots of white blood cells, which are fatty cells, which surround toxicity and help remove it. So there's your ingredients for pretty good health. Now, a lot of people would drink it, but it doesn't work on this diet, drinking it, because we've got a very acidic system. And drinking urine can cause a problem on this diet in the experiments that I've done. So, but once in a while, some people will still drink their urine. Once in a while, it's okay. I know that in India, where they almost drink their urine all the time, is because they don't eat. They're vegetarians, so they don't have enough protein. So they recycle their digested protein in their urine, because a lot of times they're eating vegetables and nuts and grains and beans that don't digest the first pass through. Vegetarian animals or herbivores take 48 hours to digest those kind of foods. Even when they're cooked in us, they take more longer than 24 hours. So when they recycle those proteins, they will get them the second time through, properly digested. Do you have a question, Lisa?
I do.
Oh, let me just. These are our hosts. Can we thank them for?
Yeah.
Thank you.
My sad little story is a question of my observation.
You've got a sad little story?
No, sort of a story.
Okay.
As an observation.
Uh-huh.
It has to do with body fat. It has to do with eye fat. So what I noticed is one thing I was wondering if body fat actually tied to how much you eat on a diet. Because what I'm noticing is it doesn't seem to be directly tied to calories. These are really what seems to be related to my body temperature. The whole body fat is sometimes enough.
Right.
And also, I did gain more than I gained to like 3 sizes in the closet. One at the top size now, down there. But I started to have some symptoms that I didn't have before. My hair felt very dry,
Uh-huh.
and actually my eyes were starting to stick together and things they were dried out. And I was getting very vision and I could see very well. I could look around having vision change.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm starting to think, well, maybe I was a little vitamins or blue science.
Right.
And then I started to therapy. So I started to feel like more, less dry.
Uh-huh.
So I was just wondering if the eyesight related to that, or if it was like detoxified with your body versus that, or...
Yeah, anytime you find a weight increase, it's usually because you're detoxing something intensely.
Yeah.
And then your body will collect the fat to deal with and harness it. Otherwise, if you don't have the fat cells to harness the poison goes into the cell and damages the RNA and DNA. You've got a damaged cell. And when it reproduces, it'll be weak, the new cells will be weak, and it just goes on and on like that. So having a lot of fat is very important to deal with that toxicity. As far as the eye problems, that doesn't relate to the weight or anything. That just means you're going through a brain and neurological detoxification. Yeah. Well, you notice how puffy your face is. I've never seen your face this puffy. And you're going through a heavy brain detoxification. Now, because the nervous system uses most of the metallic minerals, the brain and nervous system, because we've got so much fat in here, that also attracts a lot of free radicals, heavy metals. So when the brain and nervous system use conductors of electricity and light, which are metallic minerals, most of those get stored in the brain because the brain's 60% fat. So when it starts dumping, it dumps out the eyes, the ears, the salivary glands, the tongue, and the gums. That's what causes dental decay. Is when those heavy metals come down and rest on the teeth and you don't have enough plaque. Plaque is when your body uses, like from milk, lots of potassium, calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus to bind with those heavy metals like mercury and thallium that will burn the dentine, will damage the dentine. So if you have enough plaque to buffer it, that plaque will hold off the dental damage for about 3 to 7 days, sometimes 10 days if you've been on this diet a long time. If you don't remove that plaque, those acidic compounds will finally make it through even those alkalinizing minerals, which may be 100 times more than the acidic. It'll burn through and damage the dentine. Then, of course, the bacteria results because the bacteria goes in to eat on the dead tubule cells in the dentine cells. So the bacteria are the janitors, they're not the problem. The problem is mainly the medical profession jabbing you with mercury and formaldehyde and aluminum going into the brain and detoxifying out the teeth. In our society, that's what it is. If you look in Panama and Colombia, where those people are starving for protein and eat cocaine leaves all day, it demineralizes their system and their teeth rot from it. In Asia, it's because they only eat 10% meat and 80% grain and 10% vegetables, and most of the vegetables are cooked, and so is the meat. So they don't have enough minerals, they don't have enough protein to have good teeth. But in this country, most of the dental decay is because of the heavy metals dumping out the gums. You want a white tongue. The Chinese say white tongue means bad. Sure, it's bad if you're on a bad diet, but that's because of what you're eating. If you were eating a good diet, you wouldn't have a white tongue, and you had cleaned your brain out. Pardon?
But if you have got a white tongue, you detox it.
You're using those minerals to bind with the poisons the same way that your body uses in the gums the plaque to hold onto the contamination. Otherwise, you would burn. You would have a burned, thin, tissued tongue and be bleeding all the time. And you've had that sometimes. Probably everybody here, when that tongue is just raw and it bleeds easily. You haven't had that? Oh God! After chemotherapy and radiation, I had it all the time, and it was pretty bad. And when I have a white tongue, never bothered me.
That
When I
could
was
be from the
drinking
milk
milk.
too, the white tongue.
Pardon?
White tongue could be from the milk.
Yeah, it's the minerals.
Because my tongue is always white. I think it's from the milk.
Well, it
the
is.
Kefir
It's,
or the curd or something.
no, it's the calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, and potassium binding with those poisons that are coming out the tongue, harnessing them to keep them from doing damage
So
to
it's
the
not
tissue.
it's not the milk, you just saying?
It's the minerals in the milk
Oh, the
binding
minerals
with the
in the milk.
toxins.
Got it.
They're coming out the brain, coming out the tongue.
Uh-huh.
It's not directly from the milk. It's a roundabout system, right, Ron?
I understand.
Right, Ron?
No, it's like you've got a poison there. The minerals in the milk bind with it, comes out the tongue.
Oh, right away.
Yeah. You can do it that quickly. Well, eating coconut cream will help it dump quicker, but you have to put egg white in your eyes 2-3 times a day when you're going through that. Because if you got heavy metal, something very toxic coming from the brain out the tear ducts, and it damages the cornea, it will scar it, and it will warp, and then you'll lose vision. Are you eating cream and butter with the coconut cream? Gotta have them all together, because the coconut cream helps break down the toxicity. Then a little bit of butter, just a tiny amount of butter and a little bit of dairy cream combined with it helps protect your cells. The animal cells protect the body. Well, I usually mix it with the fruit. It depends on if you're eating very fermented or high sugared fruits. If you're eating low sugar fruits like berries, it'll bind with the toxicity, but it won't force a detoxification unless those berries are fermented. Then it will force a detoxification. Otherwise, it just deals with that's already being detoxified. Fermentation causes alcohol. Alcohol or soaps, body soaps like virus to produce. Pardon? That really won't force it because it's not high in carbs. It's high in fat. It's a different substance. Different fermentation than a high carbohydrate fermentation. It's not a lot of alcohol in that.
Will you combine the cream, the butter, and the coconut?
Cream, yes. Usually it's like 3 to 4 ounces of coconut cream, 1.5 to 3 tablespoons of dairy cream, 1 teaspoon to 1 tablespoon of butter. You keep in those ratios. Pardon? 1/3 teaspoon of butter. Very small amount of butter. More dairy cream.
1/3 tablespoon of butter?
Teaspoon. 1/3 teaspoon of butter. That's all you need. Or up to 1 tablespoon, depending upon how much coconut cream you have.
Why more dairy cream than butter?
Protect the nervous system and brain.
From like neurotoxins from detoxing or
Pardon?
what is that? To protect from like neurotoxins from like detoxing?
No, from damaging the cells while you're detoxing the nervous system and brain. Like they're flowing out her eyes, damaging her cornea.
Yeah. But
If she drinks cream with it, she will have the fat cells to help protect the nerves in her cornea better.
you do with the goat milk cream?
Goat milk cream doesn't work the same way.
Like a really bad dairy.
Pardon?
It's like me and cow's milk don't do well. Like I just feel like crap.
Even raw?
Yeah, well actually I haven't done raw yet.
So, whole difference in the world.
Difference.
Makes a difference. Is it?
Entirely different.
Yeah.
So, because when my doctor was huge on raw milk, but he even said he wasn't, as far as the kinesiology that he did with me, he said he did quite a lot.
Well, see, some things, if you've been allergic to it and you have dairy products in your body like casein or lactate,
Right, at the time.
when you eat the raw milk, it may start discarding it. You know, the old stuff that you have in the body, so you'll think you have an allergy to it. But that's the way I say to resolve that in the book is you eat only a half a cup a day. And when it's all out after about 3-4 months, you won't have that allergy again. But it isn't to the raw milk,
Right.
to the dairy that's already stuck in your body from being pasteurized.
So what do you say for like speaking of military-made organisms, as far as like Lyme disease and kind of dealing with the
Lyme disease is a fabricated bullshit thing.
But
I've gone through all their 5 tests to determine maybe you'll have it. Spirochetes are a natural part of any animal. Now they're identifying those because now they always want to come up with something new that's natural to blame.
Well, what if it's like specific from, getting bit by a tick and all of a sudden your memory is gone and you can't even grab something. Obviously I was infected with something and if I don't I'm not doing antibiotics, I never did. I've been doing just really kind of light herbs because I do believe that you need to keep, your organisms in balance. And, if I don't do certain medications, I'm stuttering and my whole, as far as keeping things in order, it just kind of collapses. And now I'm even doing a salt and vitamin C, I'll switch with different things to see how they work. And it's, once I kind of stop doing something, because I'm I'm going to just try to be cool, because I've never really believed in disease. And it's it totally starts, because I'm totally open with people.
You have to understand that salt is a poison.
Well, but I haven't been doing, salt is just something that I ended up kind of, a mineral, some
Shut up.
salt, mineral salt,
Doesn't make any difference.
Himalayan mineral salt.
Plants eat rock, we do not.
But what
about then was as far as what does someone do in a situations where they need to function?
Slow down a detoxification. There are several ways you can do it. It depends upon your system.
Yeah, and like
If you've got high bacterial detoxification or parasitical or even viral, you drink lime juice.
yeah, I've been doing lime juice.
Would you do lime juice? You do lime juice with a little bit of lemon juice, coconut cream, a little bit of dairy cream, and a lot of honey.
See, honey just makes me mucusy. It's just about.
You need to read the books. You haven't read the books.
I haven't.
Yeah.
Because I've read similar books. Everything you're saying today, I know.
No, you not the questions you're asking are answered in the book.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So read the book because I don't want to go over things that are already in the book.
Course.
Okay. Thanks.
What is sarcoidosis?
Pardon?
What is sarcoidosis and what causes it?
Sarcoidosis. I don't recall what that is.
Lungs when they get hardening.
Oh, yes, okay. Usually, any hardening of the body in my laboratory test showed that it was vegetable oils, crystallized. So, their medical profession, scientific community is always blaming animal fats for hardening of the arteries and the heart ever since the late 50s when they started selling vegetable oils on a big scale. Pardon?
She got it in her brain instead of her lungs, which is unusual. Why the brain?
Again, the vegetable oils are sticking in her brain. She probably doesn't eat much butter or, animal fats. She eats vegetable oils, safflower oil, margarine, Crisco, stuff like that. And in the human body, we only have 98.6 and lower, except in moments of fever, maybe a day at a time or 3 days at a time. Usually our fever doesn't go up to 102, 105 degrees like in an herbivore. Herbivores have a body temperature of 102 to 105. If they go into a fever, it can go up to 108. In their bodies, vegetable oils, with their proper digestion of vegetable oils, thins it and keeps it soft and liquid at their body temperature. 98.6 and lower, if it's made into a body tissue, into a cell, any structure in the system, over a 4 or 5 year period, it starts dehydrating and crystallizing. That's what causes arteriosclerosis and hardening of the arteries. All the hunter tribes that only eat meat and even eat it cooked, they only eat animal fat, they have absolutely no heart disease and no arteriosclerosis. The tribes that have the highest are the people that eat lots of vegetables and cook them. Do you have a question? Helen?
For Elaine.
Elaine, I mean.
Okay, I've been on your diet about 1 year and 3/4, and my question is, how long, approximately, how long will it take me on this diet to heal so I feel normal? Because
Well, you feel better than you ever felt.
Reflux. I feel wonderful.
Yeah. But you want to feel optimal? 40 years! That's what I say in my books. According to Howell and Pottinger's work with animals who were very diseased and sick, it took them 5 generations to get well. So 5 generations for us would be, it takes us 7 to 7.5 years to replace every cell in the body one time. So 5 times that, 38 years. So it's about 40 years. That's if you're perfect like me and you do it 100%.
Well, I do your diet 100%.
100%, good. Good. I still have 16 years to go. You know, and I'm already great. I mean, at 60 years old, having a break like that, and here it is 12 weeks later, and I can run on it. I can't jump down 5 stairs. I can't jump from that table, but I can jump from here onto that leg in that short a period of time. I mean, for 60 years old, I'm working on my 61st year. That's pretty good. I get healthier every day. And I like that. Okay. Do you have a question?
No.
No question. And this gentleman went somewhere?
I have one now.
Okay.
And it's pretty short, I think. The woman that was talking about Glen Ivy, what is your opinion, like you talked about what minerals was the issue, meaning replenishment. Mineral waters without the carbonation, I mean, is that any use?
No, again, it will leach. If you look under an archaeological book, the first word, the first element, the first thing under solvent is water. When it rains, it dissolves rock so plants can eat. Water is a solvent. There are no nutrient values for the human body. So, well, the only reason I say that carbonated water is better, because at least there in the carbon, I've seen that it allows more nitrogen in the digestive tract and more oxygen in the blood. So if you're going to drink water, that's better than drinking just plain old water. But I'm still against drinking much water.
But if you're in the desert,
That's the worst thing you can do. Drink water in the desert. Anybody see the rabbit-proof fence? The rabbit-proof fence is about 3 half Aborigine girls and half British girls who run their British government in Australia decided that any half-breeds did not belong with jungle bunnies, the savages, the Aborigines. So they went and took the children away and put them in orphanages that were brutal and not very nice and not loving. So these 3 little girls, one of them, the oldest I think is 12, maybe 9. No, I guess she's about 9 years old. And her little sister is 6. And another girl that was a neighbor was about 7. And the 3 little girls run away. And the rabbit-proof fence is a 1,700-mile fence that was put in the desert because when they imported rabbits and bred them and got away out of cages, they started eating up all the plants in the desert. So they built a rabbit-proof fence so it wouldn't get into the Aborigines' territory, or Aboriginal territory. So they knew that they followed the fence, they'd get home in 1,100 miles. How far they were away from home. They went the wrong way on the rabbit-proof fence for almost 700 miles before they were going the wrong way, 300 miles, something like that, and had to go all the way back. They did not drink water once. They broke off branches, took the vegetable juice, pulled up roots, grated it and rang it, and would go a whole day on 4 ounces of vegetable juice without ever drinking water, because they know that once you put water into the system, your body dehydrates. Because the cells cannot utilize the H2O from water. You can only do it if there's other elements in the juice, in the substance of liquid, where H2O is, because the body can't utilize the H2O unless there's a smorgasbord of ions. It'll just dry out the cell.
It's a movie?
It's a movie, Rabbit-Proof Fence.
Documentary?
No, it's a story.
Oh, is that
True
right?
story.
True story.
Yeah.
It's called The Rabbit-Proof Fence.
Sad. And the girls got away, and because they went the wrong way, the officials kept watching the rabbit-proof fence all the way where, so they never got caught because they went the wrong way. By the time they were on their way back, it was a month later. They had gone the wrong way for almost a month. Then they went back, so it took them like 4 months to get home. 3 little girls, well, one of them got caught, but 2 little girls, 3 months. 3 months living in the desert like that. No water. They know that in a hot desert, 140 degrees, you're going to dehydrate very quickly if you drink water. We're so used to it. It's hard to get off of it. It's hard to fathom not drinking water. I don't have any problem because I'm drinking, milk. And there was a couple of times where I was stuck without water, and I was out there in the desert breaking those things off and not drinking water.
How much milk do you drink
surviving.
a day?
Pardon?
How much milk do you drink a day?
I drink 2 quarts a day, except in the winter when it's very cold. It'll go down to about 5 cups a day instead of 8.
So when kids are doing soccer games and
Milk.
exercise, no Gatorade, should be milk.
Milk, absolutely.
And they're hot.
Well, I've got some athletes that can't do it on milk. I've got some tennis players. It gets too hot for them. So what I have them do is mix 2 cups of cucumber juice, peeled cucumbers, 1 cup of tomatoes blended, tomato puree in it, a teaspoon of vinegar, 4 tablespoons of coconut cream, 2 to 4 tablespoons of dairy cream, about 2 ounces of lemon juice, and 2 to 4 ounces of honey. And let me tell you, I've got one athlete, she's about 6 foot tall, probably 200 pounds. She's been on the diet 11 years, so she's not, you think a woman 6 foot, 200 pounds is going to be huge. But she isn't. Pardon? It's tennis. And, she just started. She was very sick when she went on the diet when she was 20 years old. Very skinny. She was a model from Canada. And I mean tall and skinny like Twiggy. And then she got to be huge, 260 pounds. Kept that way for 9 years before it completely broke. Of course, she felt, like Elena, healthier and happier and all of that. But in the last, 2 years, it broke. Now she's a champion tennis player in Canada.
So they drink this instead of the milk?
She drinks a quart and a half to 2 quarts of that a day, plus milk.
Could you go over the amounts again? I got it all down except for the amounts.
Okay. 2 cups of cucumber, 1 cup of tomato, 1 teaspoon of vinegar, 2 to 4 ounces of lemon juice. It should be just about 2 ounces of lemon. The honey can be 2 to 4 ounces. The cream, about 4 tablespoons. Coconut cream, about 4 tablespoons, which is 2 ounces.
Is that cups of cucumber juice or cucumber?
Cucumber juice.
And why without
But the tomatoes puree.
Puree. Why without the cucumber, like the green part? Why would?
Because there's some bitters in there that cause thirst.
Okay.
You said cream, 2 teaspoons, and coconut cream.
Table.
Okay.
2 to 4 tablespoons of dairy cream. 4 tablespoons of dairy cream, really. 4 tablespoons of coconut cream.
What is that for?
As for people who aren't satisfied with drinking milk, see, that girl used to drink, and she would carry all this water weight. And she said, but I'm playing tennis. I said, geez, you've been on the diet 11 years. Been talking about no water. There's another method. Give me a call. So I gave her this. So instead of drinking 2 gallons of water a day, she drinks 1.5 to 2 quarts of this mixture, and it more than satisfies her. Her tennis playing improved in 1 week on that vegetable juice instead of, or that fruit juice, a bland fruit juice, rather than the water. Because she had to carry around all this dead weight water. There are no nutrients in it.
Tomato in the cube, you put it through your
Tomatoes puree. You don't juice the tomato.
Puree.
You juice the cucumber.
Okay.
But you recommend milk for us, right, instead?
Yeah, unless you're an athlete. It's always better.
Can you keep this in the fridge? Or
Yeah.
just make it?
Keep it in the fridge, fine. No eggs in it. I don't think anybody's tried to see how long it will last. Pretty tasty. Pardon?
It would be quite filling also with the cream and the dairy.
No, because there's so little cream in there. So little. Yeah, so little
I found
in
when I
it.
was doing it, I just couldn't. When I did it, you gave me stuff and I got not quite as much. With the coconut cream, cucumber. It took away all my appetite. I was not.
Well, it usually doesn't work that way. So you didn't eat as much. She's a tennis player. You know, out in the heat and the sun and the weather, you know, running fast and hard.
Yeah, I understand.
Basketball players and tennis players. Those are the hardest sports. Okay, I guess we went around. What time is it?
It's about 5.
Okay, we did it. Thank you everyone for